First gear needle bearing. Okay, there's no bushing on this shaft. The actual inner race for this bearing is the shaft. So slide your needle bearing on there. Slide first gear on. Okay, and then they tell you to take the 3-piece part. This part here is the one you'll be throwing away because that's a replaceable. Well, they're all replaceable, but that's the wearable part, wear item. So what you want to do here is take that, and that. I'm trying to remember how all this goes together. If I remember correctly, that there, those will go in those notches. Yeah, that's the, okay, that's the inner, that is the inner for that. So that'll go like that, and then that will go like that. Okay. So, get a little bit of oil on this one here, get it wet. Okay, let's throw that down in there. Actually, probably want to get that in there first. That ain't gonna work very good like that. So make sure the tabs are in the notches. And then this one here, it's obviously tapered like that, so it's going to go like that. And that'll go on there like so. Then they tell you to press your synchronizer hub on there. Now, I'm grabbing the wrong one, it's this one. So if you read the directions on this, you got to pay attention to what you're doing here, because this synchronizer hub, it's offset. See, the offset part where the splines are is thicker here. The directions tell you to make sure the numbers on the synchronizing hub are facing up. So here's some numbers. It's a ZF with the part number, I think, and all that stuff there. And make sure that's facing up. Let me read that again. Okay, using the thrust washer bearing cut movers or press the first and second gear synchronizer body in place. The numbers on the synchronizer hub must face upward. Make sure to align the notches on the synchronizer body with the tabs on the synchronizer ring. So the numbers are going up, and obviously this offset side, the big thick side, is going to go down. And then you've got to align this, so you can spin that and align that where you want it. You'll see the 3 notches here. Alright. So what I'm going to go do now, guys, I'm going to go take it and put it in a press, and I got a piece of pipe that goes over this, and I'll shove it down to where it matches up here. Okay, so I'm putting the synchronizer assembly together. I put the sliding clutch collar over the hub. There's 3 flats that line up with the notch where your detent is. You'll see where the detent goes because there is a little recess where the spring goes in the hub. So this style of detent, I just put them in like that, and then I just tilt the plate up. And well, sometimes you got to get your kind of has to be done as one motion there most of the time. They can be kind of tricky. Sometimes you got to put some grease on them to keep them from flying across the shop if they do pop out. This style usually isn't too bad like that. You can usually get this style in pretty effectively. See, my spring's trying to really screw with me right now, though. My This one's messing with me a little bit. Afraid that one's gonna shoot out of there on me. It's not really one. There you go, you dirty son of a gun. And then the other one popped out on me, so I got them all. Okay. They're kind of tricky. Now when you're putting these sliding clutch collars together, you're really going to make sure that you're not, some of these collars will have an offset side to them, the way the shift fork moves one way or the other, so you really got to pay attention to that too. Alright, so we got our detent balls and springs and plates in. Position the synchronizer in the neutral position, we did that. Install the synchronizer rings for second gear. Align the tabs of the synchronizer rings with the slots on the synchronizer body. Okay, so here's our synchronizer rings. It's a 3-piece setup on this gear. So I'm trying to get tabs. Having a hell of a time here. It all has to be kind of put together as an assembly when you stick it together. But these 3 tabs here will line up with the notches in the hub. Okay, like so. Make sure I see here. Look at this real close here. I want those notches lined up with the detent notches. There we go. Alright. And then those are in those notches. And then what we'll do now, we'll get I gotta get this, there's a bushing that gets pressed on here, which it's in the oven right now. We'll slide it on there, and then we'll have to let it cool down. Then we'll put our needle bearing on, and then put our second gear on. Alright, so we let her cool down. Alright, she's all lined up. Okay. Looking good here. Alright, okay, we should be good to go. Now, we got this big heavy thrust washer. I got it in the oven. And everything on this thing's pressed on. This thrust washer on there next. That one actually I got it hot enough to work properly. And then you gotta go get a bushing, stick a bushing on there. Go get the bushing here. See if I got the bushing hot enough. And the bushing goes being a little bit ornery. Down. I'm a little bit impatient, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening, and I just kind of like to get it together and get going. Now I got to let that cool down, then I can stick my needle bearing on, and I can put my third gear on. Third gear will go on like that, because while I'm waiting on that, what I can do is go over there to the press. Alright guys, so on this, I realized that I was telling something that was wrong, so I'm doing a voiceover to correct it. there's no, the inner race of that, there's not an actual bearing race in there. It's machined into the shaft. So if that pocket bearing goes bad, you have to change the entire input shaft. So I just wanted to clarify that there was no input bearing or bearing race inside that input shaft. Well, I got a knife edge bearing spreader, and this is a nice one. You'll see, notice it. I don't know if you can read that. Let me get my little, it says W. Knack on it. William Knack. Guy, when I first started YouTube, you'll see him on here every once in a while. I haven't seen him lately. Maybe I ought to call him, see if he's okay. Really hell of a good man. He's sent me all kinds of stuff over the years. His name's Bill Knack. He's a heavy equipment mechanic back east. Oh, I got my phone ringing. Anyways, this guy, Bill Knack, he sent me all kinds of stuff. You'll see him on there. It's called Black Smoke. He's a hell of a good guy. I haven't heard from him. I hadn't even seen him leave a comment here lately. Probably got tired of watching my shit. That guy's an asshole. Oh hell. I'm sorry. Okay, this is third gear. Get on there now, like I said. Okay, that is the synchronizer ring for that one, and we will be getting rid of that. And we will throw one of these on there. We have two of these actually. So let me put a little bit of Earl down in here. Okay, maybe I should put a little bit on the OD of that. A little old Earl on there. Cool. And then, so I got to go over the press. I got to tighten this up a little more, and then press this bearing off and rebuild the input shaft, basically. I don't really notice a difference on the synchronizer body on this one, on the hub, but it tells you in the book that the numbers must face upwards. There might be a skosh of a difference on this step on the other side, so all that stuff's very, very important on these things. Really tapping on it, I'm not hitting it very hard. Alright, so I just noticed something I'm not really liking. I'm gonna go, I should have just brought all them parts down here. That's the bad thing about being scattered around everywhere. I don't like this sliding clutch collar here. It's all rounded off too. And I was gonna trade one for another one, but I don't really like the way this one, the one side on this one looks pretty good, but the other side's no good. I need two of them. I don't like either one of them. But I can put this bearing on. I can put the snap ring on, and I can put the bearing on. Get the snap ring on there. That'll be this snap ring right here. It's a stiff son of a gun. Alright guys, so I've got pretty much most of the main shaft with the exception of fifth. You know, once you slide it back through the center section and all that. I got both counter shaft bearings put on there, and there's a spacer on the end of this counter shaft bearing you got to be mindful of. But I'm going to pull this collar off, take it with me. Let's see if I can. I've got two of these transmissions at home that we gutted out, and we're using parts out of them. So, got to see, man. I don't like that. I like it when these things are done to be shifting like new, and they should last a long time, you know, another 200,000 miles. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. I would keep going if I had good collars, but I'm gonna stop right now and go look at these collars. It's 7:30 anyway, so anyhow, I'll be back on this one.